With the drinking and the bees and the flying and the screaming and the shouting and the screaming, bitching in between him. No one pressed their fingers and never thought of shouting out play nights. And the kicking and the biting and the silence and the...
Live from the podcast rooms in Glasgow, it's all about the Gers with Ricki Neill, Derek Ferguson and Charlie Miller.
Hello and welcome to the All About the Gers podcast. It's good to be back. Happy New Year to everybody and a big thank you to all our sponsors, ISG Resin Flooring Specialists, DB Dental Care, Plugged In IT Business Solutions and J&C Architectural. And we're already getting a few slaggings because unfortunately our last podcast on the 19th, we had a broadband failure, so we were down. But I think, Derek, I think you were rough that day anyway, so I think you were quite glad when I phoned you.
I was raring to come in, as you know, by the way. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
everyone. I've seen it on there, innit?
Happy New Year.
Did you, Charlie Miller? Sushi?
Sushi. You can't beat some sushi, but I love sushi.
My God, that's healthy eating for this, man.
Do you know what I was telling
you? Make a comeback?
No.
That's my New Year's resolution, by the way. I'm going to start the fives again. Summer.
Right, good. So. My New Year resolution is not to have a resolution. Just kick on, man.
Just go on with it.
Aye, of course.
What about you, Charlie? Have you got any resolutions?
I eat sushi. Sushi.
Have you not got any resolutions? No.
Nah. If you make resolutions, you can have to try and...
I know it's...
Stick to them, but nah.
I know. Do you know what? I actually read that today. You know how a lot of people give up drink in January?
Aye.
It's not actually good just to give up drink. Just
why would you give up drink in January and it's the worst month of the year? It's dull, it's wet,
You
damp.
just want to drink because it's horrible.
Well, it gives you a good excuse, innit, when it's dull, damp, and it's a horrible month, innit? I don't think it keeps you going to football, innit? And
it's good the football's back, innit?
Oh, big time, massive.
See, to be fair, I didn't mind the World Cup at that time of year. It was strange, but it was actually all right.
Do you know, I only watched one game and it was the final. And it was some final. I only watched one game.
It was the worst final for 70 minutes.
I quite like
France were horrific.
Aye.
And then they scored and then it became the greatest final, one of the greatest finals ever.
I quite like the fact that there was games on like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Aye.
At the start.
Some have got jobs in that. You know what I mean?
I'm working from home.
Yeah, me too. Nice. What'd you go up to, Charlie, anyway? Or you were in Medina?
I was in La Cala just before Marbella. It was lovely.
All right for some.
I know. What about yourself, Derek? What were you up to?
I was just stuck in Larkcall. Like a lovely Larkcall.
To be fair, I think I'll do it every year. Because it was amazing. Well, it was 20-odd degrees every day.
Well, see, tell a lie, there's a resolution. See, come this Christmas and New Year, that's what I would like to do with Charlie done, is get away. But it's difficult at the minute with family and all that. I mean, you know, I'm not going to get into it, but sometimes family kind of restricts you, you know, in certain ways, you know. So, but I'd love to do that, just get away your Christmas and New Year.
I'd love to spend Christmas in a different country. I've never done that.
I've done it in Australia.
Well, you done it in Australia, didn't you? Eh?
Norway
as well. What's it like? How do they celebrate it over there? Is it
in Australia?
Big, aye.
But
it's the summertime over there, isn't
it? It's 40 degrees where I was.
I think that'd be dead strange.
It sounds good, but
so it wasn't really
So what did you do on Christmas Day? Were you outside barbecue? See, that sounds brilliant.
And then Norway was totally different. Norway was freezing.
My mate stays over in Norway, though, now. Did you dress up as Santa or anything like that? No.
I did when I was in Dundee United. And I went up the stairs with my boy and I woke him up because he didn't wake up and he went, "Is Daddy Santa Claus?"
Brilliant.
That was a long time ago, but now I've got a granddaughter, man.
It's unreal, isn't it? We're all getting old.
Aye.
Correct. And also, we had our Christmas party in the Earth venue. I'd just like to thank everybody that came along.
You used to had a Christmas party.
Well, we didn't know you were going to stay sober.
Well, some of us have got to work the next day.
Yeah, but it was cancelled, you know?
No, there was a game that was supposed to. The game's changed, and then it got cancelled. The other game that was at 12 o'clock, it got cancelled. 11 o'clock. So, but no, I've got a rule. If I'm working, well, I've cheat to call it work, covering games. I don't have a drink the night before. But Friday night's a funny night. I've never felt comfortable drinking in a Friday night.
Even mind it on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I love Sunday. Fridays are my night. I love Friday nights.
See, again, we're used to playing, you know, and of course you didn't have a drink before a game. I like a Sunday. No, Sunday afternoon is my favourite kind of time.
I like a day ends in a Y.
But the two years, you were on top form.
Oh.
That much so that I had to escape.
I know,
Yous.
somebody actually asked me if we'd
I
fell
just
out.
no
Trapdoor, didn't he?
no.
Trapdoor.
And no wonder we used to. It was, listen, it was a great wee night, and the people that were there, but it was different class. It wasn't the biggest crowd,
Nah, it was good.
but what a laugh it was.
It's a
Aye,
good crowd.
a good crowd.
In fact,
aye.
one of them's actually won a raffle prize to come on the show.
Excellent. Aye.
So we must be doing all right, because I think they had the choice of a bottle of vodka or come on our show.
He needs a bottle of vodka to come on this show.
That would help. I know we should maybe have a few pints one night and come on, see how it goes.
We'll do that towards the end of the season.
Aye.
Oh,
we could.
Mondays are you can't do it now. I'm coaching.
Aye.
Oh, see, there you go. So, but Fridays is okay.
Fridays I'm coaching as well.
Yeah. Do it Saturday then. We'll do it Saturday, one game. That's what we'll do. We'll go to the game and then come back and have a carry out. Right. Anyway, obviously we've not been on since,
Aye.
in fact, it was even before the 19th, because they get cancelled. Well, never cancelled, the broadband broke down. But we never got a chance to speak about the old firm. Charlie, what was your thoughts? Obviously, I was a wee bit worried before the game, but
I was worried after 5 minutes. I know that.
aye.
I was in obviously Lacala, but I went up to Old Bar 1 in Benalmadina to watch the first half, and then I had to get a flight. So I've watched the first half in the Old Bar 1. First 20 minutes, I'm like, oh God. I thought the second 20 minutes, second 25 minutes were done better. So I was going to the airport at that point, optimistic, and I put my live scores on, and it pinged, and I'm like, please. And it was one each. I'm like, a beauty. And within about 3 minutes, it pinged again. It was 2-1 to us.
Unbelievable.
Amazing. So I've got into the airport, and I've got my mate. I video called him in my WhatsApp, asked him to put a face's phone to the telly, and I was sitting in the having a pint watching it on the telly.
Aye, you seen your phone bill yet? No.
WhatsApp, innit?
Oh, is it WhatsApp? Aye, on your Wi-Fi?
See, I had kind of a similar thing. I was travelling to cover my game in the Saturday, so I'm listening to it in the radio. And by the time I got out the car, right, and by the time I got into the stadium, I was doing it at Kelly. By the time I was getting my kit out and getting set up, 2-1. You know, and it didn't sound very good. You know, it was that certainly the first half hour. Anyway, you know, because I was a wee bit like you. I was a wee bit. I don't know if it's just because it's the usual, because it's was against them. You know, the nerves they kick in for whatever reason. But it was when they opened the scoring. You know, I was fearful. But no, they controlled the game in the second half, because I watched it. I watched the whole game through the next day, and in this massive kind of void in terms of like Celtic are way ahead of us, not at all. You know, and I think what I think about as well, Charlie, is like, see some of the other teams, they've got to have a better mentality when they're going up against, even if it's against us as well, against Celtic, because I think a lot of the time that they're defeated before they even go into the park. You know, I played against Rangers, and when I moved away, played against Celtic. And I used to have a look in the dressing room. Don't know if it was same as you, Charlie. You know, and I could see sometimes like 2 or 3 boys just they were defeated. They didn't believe.
Well, even before the game
Aye,
started.
before
aye.
a game.
Factor, wasn't it? It's a fear
Aye.
factor. But the first goal. Honestly, Morelos, how many times does he do that pass? Don't get me wrong, Tav could have helped him out with a better pass back
Tav
to the
should
goalie
have.
or to Goldson, but he does it blind so much. There's so many times he does it.
Aye, you shouldn't even be as far back
But
as
there
that.
you go, and that's the first thing as a
No, he's
midfielder.
deeper
I'd
than
be chasing
everybody.
him. You know, I would be chasing him away. See, you get up the park, it's your focal point, isn't it? You know, so you don't want him to drop him into the areas. We've got enough bodies in that area, and you're right, it was a blind pass, but you're right, Tav should just sweep it back to the keeper.
Yep.
You know, and try to be too clever.
Aye.
You know, but no, what I was just kind of getting at there is that gap, isn't there? You know, that is as big as what everybody tries to make it. So, and it's because what the Rangers players have, they've got that mentality, that belief that they can win against, and that's a bit. Of course, you've got to
Do
have
you know
that.
what I actually like about Michael Beale now? He's the way he talks, and he's very honest and open, because he actually said, "I want to see where we stand against Celtic." You know, so he knows himself.
Oh, the thing is, I think if we won, the guys upstairs would probably thought, "Oh, we can beat them. We don't need players, but we really do need players, right?" So obviously we always want to beat them, but I might have just papered the cracks if upstairs thought, "Oh, we can beat them. The team we've got." So hopefully they know that we need players. But of course we always want to beat them 100%.
He needs his players
Aye.
in, you know, because he keeps saying about And I like the way he talks, but I think sometimes he's sound crazy. He's too honest. He gives it too much information. I would rather just held back a wee bit in terms of certain things. But he's already spoke about a style of play. You know, at the minute, you know, it's not about style of play. It's about winning. You know, and that's how it was. We could have put a dent in them. You know, we're winning the Old Firm game, but we haven't. But no, the most important thing is win. Then the style comes, because I've always maintained that winning isn't enough for to be a Rangers manager or a Rangers player. You've got to do it with a wee bit of style, you know. So that'll come. But I think the important thing, and he's done it. He's won games of football, but I just wish we could have won that one. Seen it
But the thing is, you can see the difference for Giovanni to Bale. They're playing for Bale. They weren't playing for Giovanni.
Definitely,
and that's the end. That's it. That's what you can see that a mile away. There's more effort for, and Kent's coming back into a play better. Obviously, he's getting some players back that Giovanni would have been done with, as in Davies and whatever. But they will look a better team. But actually, the Aberdeen game, don't get me wrong, for the first 20 minutes, I thought we were going to scalp them. And then it was probably the worst 70 minutes I've watched all season. And then the greatest 2 minutes.
I think we've actually got this. I think he's got the same results for the first 5 games that he did, what Gio had. So is it four wins and a draw?
I think the other thing, Ricky, he doesn't suffer fools. That's what, to me, comes across. If you're not going to do it, you're not going to be at it, you're not the right type, you'll be out the door. And I quite like that. That's the kind of wee, kind of old-fashioned values. But sometimes nothing wrong with being old-fashioned.
Do you know, my only criticism about the Old Firm game is substitutions. Because I thought, like, we've got a token Celtic fan that works in here. And he constantly says to me, he's like, see if we're not winning by 60 minutes, he says our team's totally blown out our arse because we just go for it right for the first minute. And I thought we started making substitutions about 60 minutes, but we brought on Scott Wright. I thought you should be bringing on guys like Arfield and really go for it.
Arfield every day of the week for me, because you know what you're going to get. And it's not just what Arfield gives you in terms of the energy, the runs forward. It's the experience, and you need the experience in all Firm games. He's got that, and he's an experienced guy. He was,
but also Sakala was running rampant against.
And that's what I was going to ask you this, right? Because he gets man of the match, Sakala, right? Can you remember back a few years we had a player, right, that done the exact same thing, played centre forward for us, Morelos. That was, Sakala was going about turning about, showing a brilliant attitude, the fitness. You know, that used to be Morelos. You know, and then there's a lot of stuff out there, and he isn't fit. It's clear to see he's not in the best shape. And Morelos, why is he not doing that? I don't think it's for the one that he's got the right attitude when he crosses a line. I just don't think he can do it at the minute.
See, my mate, I've got a friend that works at Murray Park, and he says Morelos wears a medium top.
Just like me.
He's a medium top. That's what he wears.
Aye.
I'm like, well, why would they not wear a large one then? Because he's saying he's no fat. Aye. And I'm like, it looks as if he's carrying a bit.
Aye.
But
I think there's pictures when he first came to the club, and you look at him now. But that's what I'm saying. I don't think there's anything wrong. When he crosses that white line, I think his attitude is, he wants to get about it, but I just don't think he can do.
Well, we're going to come back to Morelos later on, talking about the United match, because I think he made a big difference when he came on in the second half. But obviously, there's loads of doubt when Michael Beale got the manager's job. How do you feel he's doing so far?
Well, there wasn't any doubt. I was just, I thought we needed somebody a bit more experience. I didn't want him. You want every Rangers manager to do well. That's what the thing is. But my thing for me is that he's not back Wolves when he was at QPR, so he's not going to come up here and do well for 2 or 3 years and then go down to England to the Premiership to go to Wolves or Aston Villa, because he had already knocked that back. So I think he's here for a long haul, which is good. He seems to love the club, which is even better. And he's got big ambitions, and so far so good.
He gets us. That's the most important thing. Obviously, working under Gerrard, been here and sampling, what it's like, to be at the club. He gets it right away, and I think that's brilliant. But I was honest with you. I think we spoke about it. I was a wee bit underwhelmed when he first got the job, because I'm like Charlie. I was looking for somebody, not so much a bigger name, but a bit of experience. But no, as soon as we heard the first few interviews, I like the way you come across. You know, definitely. You're laughing at it.
I just seen a comment in the group chat about sushi. I'll no repeat it. But, right, I'm going to move on just to VAR because we're kind of halfway through the season now. And VAR, there's been a couple of dodgy decisions for both sides in both games. You think it's working up here? There seems to be something all right.
I was never really in favour of VAR. But the reason I wasn't in favour of VAR is because of the stoppages, you know, in terms of, I want to go watch a game of football, free flowing, you know, and I don't want the game stopped for 5 minutes. But there was a game last week at Hearts, stopped for 6 minutes, or 6 minutes, you know. So you're talking about the fans are frustrated, people are, managers, coaches are frustrated, but the players, even, I would hate that to be in this day and age and having the game stop and taking 5 minutes, you know, but it's the handball, isn't it? With the VAR.
Still no kind of, nobody seems to know what it is. But see, the thing I was confused about, I thought there was 3 people in the VR room.
There's only one, isn't there?
Aye, but there's one, and then there's somebody called an AVAR, which is the assistant to the guy that's it's an AVAR. So basically, like, say for instance, the other day it was Colum, he was the main VAR, but see, while he's looking at one decision, there's another guy called an AVAR, and he's looking at the live play in case anything else happens. No, but I just thought it was crazy. There's been so many decisions where, you know, you think, right, if the referee's in doubt, then he needs to go over and check that screen. No, Rangers and Celtic and Dundee United
well,
game.
the game yesterday with Motherwell, I think it was the foreign boy plays with Hibs, went down the line and he's smashed the ball after the young boy Penny or something for Motherwell, and it's when Hutty took back his leg and up and flicked his horn, and everybody's screaming for a penalty. It's never a penalty, you know what I mean? But they got that one right, and then there was a corner came in and they stopped to play because they were looking at VAR regarding what happened at the corner, and then they just go, play on. Bloody hell.
If you're a player, you know, and there's nothing on, you would just smash the ball at somebody in the box and hope it hits his arm or hand. Because again, we don't know what's. I mean, the one that they're going on about Golson, you know, what's your natural instinct if you're going to get hit in the face is you pull your hands up, you know, the old crown jewels, your hands go down there. So if it doesn't hit his hand, what's it going to? It's going to hit his cutum. It's going to hit him in the face. So I didn't think it was a penalty, but they're just claiming for any time it hits a hand. Some of the decisions, and this is waiver, you know, they've got that. They've been absolutely ridiculous.
See, I watched the Liverpool game. Did you see Liverpool Wolves on
I've not saw
Saturday?
it, no.
That doesn't make any sense to me. The boy gap goes turned inside, try to play the ball out to Salah. Salah's offside. So, but the Wolves player doesn't know that.
So
and he does it. And then Salah becomes onside again. I'm like, and then Wolves scored a goal that looked never was offside. And then the VAR never gave it.
That's got to be more cut and dried, that, because as soon as the ball's played, he is offside. But I think the ruling is that because it goes to the ball goes to the player, he tries to head it. Yeah. So what they've said is if he's in control of the situation, which the boy was, right, he should have been.
No,
right.
I know, but he's still thinking he's on side.
If it hits him and if he makes a muggy and it still goes to Salah, then it becomes onside. It's as clear as mud.
Anyway, as you said earlier on, Charlie, it's good to see some of the players returning. With Riff coming on yesterday, but Michael Beale has also said that John Souttar and Hadji is back at training, which will be good to see. But Tom Lawrence is still out with a bit of an ankle injury, so he's getting assessed. I think it was yesterday, so he could still be out for a few weeks, you know. But it is good to see him coming back. But there is also interest for Morelos with a Mexican team.
If Morelos leaves Rangers to go to Tigres in Mexico, he was out his mind.
Aye.
He's out his mind.
But he likes their food, doesn't he?
Yeah. So do I, but I still wouldn't leave Rangers to go to Mexico.
I know, but
get him on the Charlie Miller diet.
Aye,
sushi,
and beer.
And I've heard Philip Helander as well. He's free to go and talk to other clubs as well. So it looks like he could be leaving at the end of the.
I'm sad for Helander. I know he's not played the last year and a bit, but he was a good player for us when he played. He's done very well, and wish him all the best. It's just been a bad injury, of course, and he was a good player for us.
He got one bad injury and he was straight back in for a couple of games, wasn't he? And he was
Sometimes
Same
that
again.
can happen. You know, one follows the other. You know, and but is he 30 now? Is he around about that age? A wee bit older.
29, 30, I think.
We're overloaded with centre backs anyway, so we're getting
But
suited.
we need fit ones.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. We're getting suited by obviously Golson and Davies.
Davies is doing all right as
He's
well.
done
isn't he?
well. They're forming a good partnership. So, but what you want is a competition. You need the other guys to come back. You put a wee bit of pressure on them, and what the pressure does is it makes them play, because every time they go out there, you know, you're looking at their shoulder. If I don't have a good game, and the way it looks with Beale, you'll get your opportunity. If you're not performing on the park, there's somebody waiting in the sidelines ready to take that opportunity.
Bill's already said that he's like backing John Suter as well, you know, so he
I
said
like
he actually
him.
you liked him.
Suter's a fantastic football player. You know, you look at him, he's a big lumpy boy, but I tell you what, he can play. You know, I used to cover and watch him early years, certainly at Hearts. You know, it's just that he's had a horrendous time with his injuries. But if he's fit and he's at it, you know, what an addition. And again, it'll be like a new signing.
I can't believe we signed him, and then he was struggling with an injury, and they play him in that stupid pitch.
Livingston. But that, again, sometimes that's going to become. He was just desperate to play, and sometimes you've got to kind of, you know, like take that decision. Well, a decision is out of his hands, but you know, as a player, you'd be like, "No, I want to play, Gaffer." And should I just be like, "No, you're just listen. This is no your surface. Just leave it."
Charlie, I mean, we've been linked to two players so far. I think it's actually 2 or 3, but Todd Cantwell, midfielder for Norwich, only 24 years old, and Tom Davies, also a midfielder. Where do you think we need to strengthen? Do you think?
I think we need legs in the middle of the park. I think we do. Obviously, Todd Cantwell a couple of years ago was nearly signing for £30 million for teams. Lost his way a little bit. I just hope he's got his hungry. I just hope he's got he's hungry for if he does come up. He's wanting to go and play.
Because he's only made 10 appearances for them.
No, but that's Tom Davies.
Sorry, you're talking about Todd Cantwell.
And then obviously Tom Davies, a good player, played with Everton for a long time. But there's a boy Joshua Nomer as well for Fulham. I think we were linked to. Let's see what happens. I think Beale knows him very well. He speaks highly of Cantwell and Davies, so he knows them better than we do. So, but we definitely, I think we need another striker badly.
Did you see Windass the other day, by the way?
I was flying machine.
He scored 3 goals in the game before as well. Would you have him back at Rangers? No. Straight to the point, Charlie.
No, it's just nice to see him doing well, isn't it?
You
know, right away. I mean, his setting goals are absolutely sublime, wasn't it? It was a brilliant finish.
That was
so it was. So that's always nice when you see boys that have been at Rangers, you know, going away and you still watching them.
There was a rumours that Josh Windass coming back.
I think you just started it.
They two boys you're talking about are certainly one thing about them is they're talented, you know, and for whatever reason, you know, they've not maybe hit the heights, you know, and probably what was expected of them. But obviously Beale, you know, as Charlie says, knows all about them, and I think he believes he can bring the best out of them. So I think that's why he's desperate to get them to the club.
Where do you think we need to strengthen, Derek?
Me, goalkeeper.
Seriously?
I think. Listen, McGregor is always going to have a place in my hearts because he's been top notch for us. McLaughlin is a good keeper, but I think there's better out there. We'll go to. So I always like. I'm a wee bit old fashioned. I like the spine of the team: goalkeeper, your centre back, centre mid, and a centre forward. So I want a midfielder as well and another forward.
I can't believe Ross McCrory's not getting a chance though. And I would still have McGregor in the goal anyway, but I don't know how he's not playing.
Have you watched McCrory playing?
I'd seen him as a kid and he was very good. But obviously I've not seen him. They obviously see him more than we do. But you just signed another 3-year deal. That'll take him up to 28.
He's got to go out and play first team football. That's for sure. You know, at whatever level, you know, you need first team games. He needs to get that experience. I mean, I don't know anything about McCrory. I've no watched him. I know he's been involved in international setup as well. So that tells you he's a talented player. But you need to be playing.
Well, everybody just assumed that he was going to be the next number one. By the way, Bologna are winning 1-0, Derek.
Bologna.
Just keeping up to date.
Listen, I don't even want to think about that because I get. You're talking about nervous old firm game. This makes me. I'm a nightmare watching. Do you know the Ibrox bar in Tenerife? That's the game. They play on Bologna games.
Is that right?
Because it's sometimes people walk into the pub and they'll go, "What's that one for?" And they just go, "Family friend."
Stan's over there, isn't he?
He's earlier.
I think there's a
Stan and Tricia.
Jordi Mackey are at Ibrox bar, Tenerife. Brilliant. And the Blue Bells, Craig up in Los Cristianos. the Bluebells up there. Two great wee Rangers pubs, sorry.
Definitely.
I'm just going to ask some of the questions that are coming in online now before we start talking about Dundee United game. This is actually my brother-in-law, Brian Trench. He's saying, what's Charlie's and Derek's opinion on the team's performances since Beale's been in charge? His team only start playing in the second half, and it's like two totally different teams.
I think it's as soon as Tillman wants to start playing. Because he's in the first half of the game, he's just, he doesn't look interested. And then the next minute he starts playing and we look good and we can create things. And because he's a very important player, he just has to try and, I think Tillman's doing very well in the second half of games, and that's when we start playing.
Aye, but I think it's a wee bit of frustration for us all, you know, because, I mean, you heard the manager after the game saying we were in complete control in the first half. I didn't think so.
No.
I was a wee bit uncomfortable watching the game, but, you know, they stepped it up in the second half. But it shouldn't be the case, you know. We've got to get that right from the off. And people go, but he's won, and his second half performance was good. But no, listen, as Rangers fans as well, we're greedy. We're better than that. So we want to see that early 90 minutes. We don't just want it our 45 minutes. So it's something that they'll be looking at that, and they'll try to try and address that.
You'd rather be 2-0 up in the first half.
Of course.
Aye.
And then what that allows you sometimes as well, some of the guys, you know, the fringe players, you can give them game time. You know, you can get them and maybe rest one or two. I was always under the kind of impression when I played that what I wanted to do, get into a strong position and then not so much cruise, but you know you can manage the game, you can control it, and then if anybody with any wee niggles and all that, get them off, get the guys on. Give them a wee bit of game time.
Aye. Here's Stephen Learnmouth saying, is it true that Barca, Man United and Atletico Madrid are now after Sakala after he rinsed their top target, the £40 million superstar Juranovic?
What a finish it was, wasn't it? Oh, wasn't it? It was tremendous.
He would be a nightmare to play against Sakala because he doesn't know what he's doing.
I know. But I think he's getting better.
Well,
Well, the first half against Dundee United was terrible.
What's he getting better at?
I think he seems to be a stronger player.
running
Like
in behind.
physically?
See, when he runs in behind, it causes
Aye.
problems. See, try to beat somebody, he can't beat people. He has to use his pace. He has to be clever. It reminds me of Lovenkrantz. Lovenkrantz through the middle was always better.
Right.
Because he couldn't beat people. You know,
When you say that he doesn't know what he's doing, the one person that just springs right to mind, and I think
Ted
it's
McMahon.
Ted McMahon,
Aye.
the brilliant
I knew you were
Ted
gonna say
McMahon.
that.
Aye, I love Ted because he even admitted it. You know, he just didn't think, he just done it.
He was quite tall, but when he was
Aye, he's
big-
rangy, he's about 6'1",
Aye.
6'2", big Ted. Aye, but with a ball at his feet. Like, he was brilliant, but again, he just didn't know what was coming for him, you know, which is magic. Ted's a great guy.
Aye, I know. I wonder if he's actually watching. He normally watches.
But a great guy, brilliant player and all. I mean, that's how you enjoy watching players like that.
Like somebody just said that as well.
What's that?
Sakala reminds me of Big Ted.
Aye, that's
to
great.
be fair, his finish was brilliant, though. It was a
Oh,
great
wasn't it?
finish.
Oh, it's peach, wasn't it?
Top draw.
Stuart Lang's also saying, do Derek and Charlie still think we're still moving the ball too slow going forward? I think we are.
Yeah, but we'll have to, at the second half, we moved it quicker and we created more and we looked a far better team. If we move the ball quicker, we play better.
Charlie, with the manager's comments, he says in the second half we had to run a bit more. So that tells me that they weren't working hard enough. You know, and what I mean by working hard enough, they weren't showing enough. And if you're on the ball, you're possessing the ball. If you've not got a lot of options, you're not going to shift it quick. You know, you're going to wait to that option or that chance to play it to somebody in a blue jersey. So they didn't work as hard as what they should have. So and that shouldn't happen. So this is what I'm saying about that. He needs to address that. You know, we need to start games better. So we do, certainly in the first half.
See, Michael Beale, I don't think he hesitates when making a choice of substitution either. You know, obviously, well, Cholak was injured. I didn't think he was playing good in the first half anyway, but it turns out he was injured and he brought Morelos on. And that's what I was wanting to get back about Morelos. I think he actually, although he didn't, I think it's his presence was in there and he seemed to make a difference.
Aye.
You know what I mean? It's like,
But the thing is, if you're a Dundee United player, right, a defender, you know, and we're having a wee laugh about Morelos, but that's the last person you want to see coming on. If you're ready to kind of start the game second half, and then you see him trotting out, and you go, "Oh Christ, here we go! I'm in for a tough 45
Especially
minutes."
if he's up for it, he's very hard to play against.
See, I think he is up for it. I just think, and I think even though he's wearing a medium jersey, right, I still think his fitness should be better. Whether there's, he's had a long time. You know, we had the World Cup. you know, and he should have been even early Christmas period. So he's a cut a month, you know, he sort that out. So that's expected of you. And it's not just what you do at training; it's how you are away for the part, you know, in terms of your diet.
Aye.
You know,
We seen what happened during the World Cup. You know, Ryan, Jack and that were doing training. They went over to Dubai and they were like, doing their
he
own
should be his
training.
dietitian, Charlie Miller.
Sushi and beer.
Sushi and beer. No, Sagi beer with.
So, you seen all the pictures and
Aye.
Ryan Jack at that training, and he's over in Colombia or somewhere.
But that's the modern day professional now. It's 24/7. It's no like in our day that when the game was finished on a Saturday, you would go out and have a few beers, maybe go out on a Sunday and enjoy yourself. These guys, it's a lifestyle, you know. And I get a wee gist of it with my own boy, you know. It's like it's unbelievable how professional they are. It's quite scary. And then sometimes it's actually embarrassing, you know. If I'm sitting in a house and I'm sitting with the boys and I'm talking about how we went about, how I went about things and all that, you know, it's different world.
Aye.
So it's changed days.
And it's
100%.
massive.
It's all stats and things like
even
that
for
nowadays,
your
isn't it?
day, I know, Charlie, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Isn't it? So no, it's different levels.
Because I mind I was over in Marbella last year. And,
I needed a tag. Should I put a tag on me or something?
Tag?
Aye. One of them round the eyes. Keep you in. You
Please
got to
one,
stay in.
aye.
Aye.
Did you not have one of them? No.
No.
I should have moved in with Walter or Archie.
Aye.
That would have sorted you.
I know.
But you're right, see what you're talking about training there. I get the chance to go and watch wee Greg Docherty play with Hull.
He's a great example.
We'll see over
He's
at
a
training
great
in
pro.
Marbella, and I couldn't even stand it. He was like 40 degrees in there, like
Mhm.
playing like 3 bounce games, right? But you kept on hearing the players telling each other, get your steps in. 'Cause it's all about the stats, you know, because they're wanting to make sure that.
There's nowhere to hide.
Aye, that's
Yeah,
it.
there is. And sometime in our day, you could hide. You know what I mean?
I'd have put mine in my dug.
Aye. Some players do
Aye.
that. So
Fetch.
but there is nowhere to hide now because it's all monitored, you know, and then so they can tell exactly how hard you've been working. But the good thing is as well, you know, if you're working too hard, then they can say, right, ease off a wee bit.
Aye.
So it's managed. It's brilliant. It's a different ball game.
That was in Belgium when I started doing that. Because they were obviously saying that a guy who's fit, really fitter than me, different.
Mhm.
I shouldn't be doing what he does, as in fitness wise. I should be doing what
All right.
I can do for
Suits
my
your body,
body.
aye.
So I was like, happy days.
So
Happy days.
I'm finishing it too.
No, we've done double sessions for fun earlier.
Aye. Is that right? I went round Okinawa one time and they were saying that you can actually compare your stats against other players around the world. Don't know.
Probably, aye.
So if you,
Totally can.
you know,
It's
I
crazy.
think that'd be quite interesting.
Yeah,
You could
but,
actually see how many like steps or whatever, or
Mm.
many bits you've run and everything.
But it's all specific. A midfielder's going to run more than a centre forward. I
Or a
mean, but then a
centre-half.
centre forward,
Yeah.
the centre forward's all about explosive power in it. You know, the pace. You know, midfielder's more about endurance
Aye.
as well. You know, so it's different fitness as well, and it's all kind of specific stuff they work on.
Here's Mitchell's Gracias. I love his name, and I know who it is now actually as well. But he's saying Bill will ensure that Celtic will have to earn the title. It's not over yet.
Yes.
They're rotten in defence, but I don't know if any other team will beat them.
That's the thing. That's the thing, innit? We're just
Because of their mentality,
We hope
and
we
that's
take
what
a
I'm
fit off a pedo against some teams like the St Mirren game, but we just have to keep on winning and see how it goes.
Mhm. But that's the mentality with a lot of the other players in the Scottish League that it's Celtic come calling, you know, and sometimes they go like they don't believe they can win. I'm not saying every player, but there is players, and I've experienced that myself in a dressing room, looking at boys and thinking they don't fancy it today, they don't believe they can win it. And then what happens? They go into a part and they hide. And that's the worst thing you can have. All it takes is one or two and you're gubbed. The players hide.
Aye.
You know, you need everybody, but that strong mentality. So it's not just about, that's what I'm saying at Rangers, it's not just about being a good player, it's having that mentality. And I think that's what comes across with Beale. See, when you hear him talking about players he wants to bring to the club, they've got to have that strong mentality.
Because he said he doesn't like doing these Zoom calls with players. He said he needs to actually
Brilliant.
sit down with them
I
face
love-
to face.
Ricki,
He's already did a few
I
chats
love
with boys.
that. You know, I'm one, I hate on these phones. I hate phones. I hate talking to
You
people.
need to see what kind of character they're
Aye.
like. You need to know when you speak to them, is he tough enough? Is he up for it? Is he really want to come?
But you get a feel for somebody. If you're sitting in a room with them, you know, and you just, there's something, it's totally different, and you get that feel, you know, and because you want to probe and ask certain questions about them. Because remember, you're playing in front of 52,000 people. You know, so you've got to handle that. The expectation is to win, but not just to win with a wee bit of style. You know what I mean as well.
There's a wee pal Jamesy saying the cups are massive for us this season.
Aye, and it's this week Sunday, Aberdeen. You know what I mean? And they're no mugs. We obviously the 2 goals with Arfield last time out. You know, we didn't play particularly well. Charlie says it, first 20 minutes, Charlie. Aye. But we need to up our game. And that's what I'm saying. This is how we need to address this. That first 45 minutes against Dundee United. We can't allow that to happen again because we might find ourselves a goal done. We just don't know. So address that in massive game. And aye, there's nothing better than the league. It looks as if we're not going to get that. But hey, we need the cups.
You never know. You just
never know. But
fighting,
we're not throwing a towel in, far from it. I'm not saying that. But definitely the cups. Aye.
You wonder what kind of man Michael Beale is as well at half time, what his talks are like. Or do you think he does go right through them or what? Or?
I've no idea, mate. I wouldn't think so. I think in this day and age here, players get kind of.
Just he always seems to do something at half time and we come out a different team.
But players get upset now, don't they, and tell their agent or whatever. Because there's a man the day he was at Hibs and he get released. He only played 47 minutes and he's went and contacted PFA because Lee Johnson kept on shouting at him.
That's frightening, man. Aye, they're a wee bit kind of.
Where did David Robertson go, by the way?
He's Peterhead, man.
Peterhead. Wonder how he's getting on up there because that programme that he was on was brilliant.
That was brilliant. Can you remember the time he was doing in, I don't know what city it was or whatever?
Kashmir,
aye. Full of dogs and all that.
That's what he put. Nobody wanted them in the league.
And he was stoating about in the middle of the night and you're not even meant to be walking about.
It's amazing that all the boys that played with him says they never got a peep at him. He was dead quiet.
I would never have thought he would have been a manager.
There you go. And then you see him and he's an absolute madman, which is brilliant, isn't it?
As soon as he smelt a beer, he was nuts.
Was he? Well, you did say he was quiet, but didn't he?
He was quiet.
Well, I never played with him.
It must have been Ian that said he was quite quiet when he went to the dressing room and all that.
Sometimes it's the quiet ones you go to watch.
That's me.
The crackpots.
Anyway, in fact, see, just going back to the Dundee United game, I thought Ryan Jack was very impressive as well, by the way. He seemed to cover every blade of the pitch.
And he's a good player.
Yeah.
We know that.
Bill trusts him. Bill likes him, doesn't he? So, he's a player. We don't know he's a good player. It's just if he can stay injury-free as well, that's the thing.
What did you see now?
Oh, he's
30.
in 30. Last year, his
30.
contract as well. So that's. But there again, Charlie just says it. Bill, I think, is a big fan he has. So I don't think he could be getting another contract, but
I think he's getting another contract.
2 or 3 years. It might just be a year by year now.
Bill was speaking about him last week, I think, saying he's a pleasure to work with. Why would I know why to give him another contract?
And he comes across as a good professional, doesn't he? Aye. And as I say, he gets us now as well.
Well, like you said, we've got the semi-final on Sunday against Aberdeen, and it's always a tough game against them. And always, who was it said the other week that they only play 4 games or something? It's against us, which is true. But there's always been a hatred between the set of fans, and it's been like that. I think it's been like that even before the injury to Durant. But when they done Durant, it just get even worse. But
shocking.
What's it like, Charlie, as a player going in to play against Aberdeen? Is it the same kind of tension?
Honestly,
do you ever notice it?
Mate, see going into Pittodrie, see the people, the staff inside the stadium, they were lovely people.
Right.
They couldn't look after you anymore. They were lovely people. See, as soon as you went onto that pitch, my word, you could feel they hated it.
Aye.
They hated us badly. If I see Big Mark, they try to attack Big Mark, going onto the bus. They just don't like us at all. They really don't. And I don't really like him either. So, but I've got the game on Sunday. I've got wee Sammy Preston taking me to the game on Sunday.
Good stuff.
Nice,
I've witnessed it myself. Getting up there watching. I watched Aberdeen against, obviously we lose. Aberdeen against Hearts. Aberdeen against Hibs. Aberdeen against Celtic. When Rangers came calling, my God, you're talking about the staff and that. Yeah, I probably get that. But seeing the players' lounge, the kind of where you go with the families and all that, there was a different feeling as soon as I walked in. I couldn't believe it. It was just kind of, and I think because of my background, because of who I played with, and that, even to me, I could feel it. And when we went out, sat, took my place for the game, by the way, it went up a notch or 2 or 5. It was scary how, and I'm going like, because I went with James, Lewis's girlfriend's dad, and was sitting, and he'd been at previous games with me, and I went, you can feel it, and he couldn't believe it or not. I says, that's unbelievable. The hate, and it was, and that's a strong word to say that hate, but they generally do. There's a hatred there.
It's unreal, isn't it? But I mean,
let's just go and battle them on Sunday and get in the final. That's all we need to do.
I think that's what we need to do, but we need to do it right for the start.
Go and gear them a hiding, and then that's us in the final.
They've got good, they've got good players from middle to front, talented boys. So we that's what I'm saying. You're saying we have got to be at it right from the off. Their weakest point with their side, it's clear. It's their defence. So we need to get at them right from the off. But when we've got guys like Lundstrom, we've got guys like Jack, that can stop or nullify them. Certainly in the middle of the park to the forward.
If we go and play well, we win the game. Simple as that.
It is as simple, aye. But that's it. Doesn't always pan out that way. But we're going to have a massive following there. It's a big part. So the guys with the ability to use that, the wide areas, the space, we've got that in abundance. But it's the attitude. Make sure we're at it right from the off.
Aye. I mean, see the support at the United game yesterday. I thought they were brilliant. Just again singing for full 90 minutes.
A pal that only goes to away games.
Aye. So you can sing all the songs.
Goes to away games all the time.
Oh, but I thought they were brilliant yesterday again. And as you say, imagine coming out to that at Hampden night. It'd be amazing. Well, you've been there and done that, but must be even better against Aberdeen and Celtic.
Aye, well, I played my first Old Firm was at Hampden against Celtic. It was amazing. We beat them 3-1. It was brilliant.
Right. In fact, we'll get predictions in. That's us near the end of the show. So we'll get predictions because I know you're in a rush to get back and see your boy playing.
Correct.
So predictions. Who wants to go first?
Charlie, on you go.
I'm going to give 4-0.
Aye. In the first half.
I'll take a 2-0.
Aye. I'll go 3-1. 3-1.
You think we'll concede?
Aye.
Why?
I don't know. I always like to put on a wee half-time, full-time bit.
Right. No, I just want a clean sheet and a couple of goals. One in each half would do me.
2 in each half would do me.
Aye. Who would you start in goals?
If he's not going to start Griggs, I'd start McCrory. But as I said before, we have to stick by McLaughlin. So if it's McLaughlin, then so be it. But I would play Griggsy. If not Griggsy, I'd play McCrory. But the manager decides, and obviously whoever trains the best, now they see it every day. So
I would go with McGregor.
Aye. Me too.
Aye. So I would. But obviously likes McLaughlin. And again, I sort of saying about he was maybe too honest because he's explaining why. Because McLaughlin comes out for boys. We can all know that, but sometimes I don't want to hear that. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather have kept now what you're saying about McGregor. Just keep it a wee bit more to yourself and just say, because McLaughlin's better with the ball at his feet. But I just McGregor for me every day of the week.
I think he always has a wee bit of nervy start, but see McLaughlin because he done it. The first 5-10 minutes, he kicked the ball out at the park yesterday. But once he gets decent first save, then he's all right. But I don't know.
McGregor. I must have had a 90-minute nervous start. I used to kick the ball out of the park the whole 90 minutes.
He's a big game player, McGregor, isn't he?
Aye.
For me, anyway.
Aye. He would love to be there.
This is a big game, massive game for us. So it is.
So you're going to hospitality then?
Yep.
Were you watching it? You watching it in the shed?
I down the bottom of the garden in the shed.
No, I think I'm going over to Lunch 72 on Sunday.
Right.
So I'll play some tunes for about 10:30 in the morning over there. But I'm actually doing a karaoke on Saturday night as well. So if anybody wants a wee sing song. Have you got any gigs this weekend? Do you?
I've got a bloody first day thing on Saturday.
Aye.
I have to do it every 3 years for the academy.
So
I've got 5 coaches doing it on Saturday.
Good.
Lunch 72, that sounds not bad. Don't know.
They've done it all up actually. Yeah, it's looking really good.
Karen must be away to Bologna then.
She needs to be. Aye, I'm under the thumb. That's it. Boom.
If Carol's away, then you're allowed it. Right. Anyway, I'd just like to say a big thank you to all our sponsors yet again. ISG Resin Flooring Specialist, DB Dental Care, Plugged In IT Business Solutions, and J&C Architectural Limited. And we'll be back again next week at 7:30. And thanks again. See you later, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Nights, and the kicking and the buying